Okay, so let me just get the steps here of what I want to go over and we can get started. Okay, so what I wanted to go through the onboarding for academic side. I'm sure you have one from student services, but just to cover things here properly, when you come to the website for Grace, first thing I want you to do is to go to the academics tab. And why isn't this opening here? You go to the academics tab, and on the academic calendar, this is where you find out when the openings are for the different modules or semesters and stuff. So when we come up for the spring, which will be the next one, it will go from January 4th to May 14th. The application deadlines that you sign up for both modules. So a semester is 16 weeks, which consists of 2 8-week modules. So you sign up for the entire semester. So module 3, the deadline is November 20th for module 3, and the deadline for module 4 is February 26th. The registration, so we got somebody else coming on. So
it's Tamara.
Hi, Tamara. Glad to meet you. We're just getting started here. Basically, I came from the Grace website, and that took us down to academics, to the academic calendar, which tells you when things are open for the semesters, which are 16 weeks. And then every semester has 2 8-week modules. So the first semester for the spring registration opens up on January 4th to May 14th. It consists of module 3 and 4. You always sign up for both modules, so for the entire semester. And these are the deadlines to do so. Now, while those are the deadlines, the registration begins October 26th and closes November 20th. So as of this moment, the spring registration is closed because we're in December. So the next semester to register will start on May 17th. That will be module 5 for the deadline, and the registration will open up on March 15th. Now, just because this is closed, you can petition to still get in, and I would talk with Willie Gaines, and I think that there's a form that you would fill out also, and we'll get to that. The next thing under academics I would like you to do is go to catalogs and handbooks, and depending upon if you're English or if you're Spanish, there's 2 different catalogs, but I want you to right-click or actually save link as, and then I want you to download the academic catalog and save it to your desktop. I'll go ahead and open it up here. The reason I want you to download it and save it is this is the catalog that you are that you've come and been accepted under. So this catalog now will dictate your pathway for your degree program. Now, you can go ahead and read through this, but the thing I want you to note, I think it's down around page 60 or so, you have the graduate, page 52, you have the graduate chaplain programs. And then you have these program comparison charts. You could look at the differences. But what I want you to focus on is the course progression charts, which start around page 59. And the chaplain ones start on page 67. So for the Master of Arts in Chaplaincy on page 67, which I'll scroll through really quick to get to them, 37. Okay, we'll come back to these in a second. But these are the courses on page 54. I would print page 54 out. These are the courses that you take for the Master of Arts in Chaplaincy. And you'll see that the chaplain core classes are all down here in the bottom. And it is 46 credit hours. Now, skip through the master progression charts and you go to the course progression charts. This will help you. You print this out. Let me find the right page. It said 67, I believe. Graduate chapel. Okay. So at the bottom of page 67, you will see the Master of Arts in Chaplaincy for the 3-year plan. Now, each row here, this is year 1, this is year 2, and this is year 3. Okay, I know there's not a 3 there, but there's supposed to be a 3. So this is the sequence of the classes that you should go through in the order that you should take them. So module 1, we always want people to start off with research methods and hermeneutics as soon as possible. Now, I do not know if these classes are offered every module. So this is the suggested sequence for you for your best learning outcomes. So basically, you go row by row, left to right, top to bottom. So you'll notice that the chaplain courses, you don't start taking the core chaplain classes until the 2nd year, okay? So you'll be 1 year into it before we will actually be in class together. That is the suggested order. Now, I want you to notice that the pastoral education, CPE, let me talk to you about that. CPE is a 16-week course. There are 4 levels to CPE: 611, 622, 633, and 644. They must be taken in sequence. Now, of the 16 weeks, 1 unit of CPE is 3 credits, and it's a total of 400 hours over the 16 weeks. The semester before you start, so that will be module 3, 4, and or 5 in your 2nd year, there's another application to get into CPE along with an interview, and I'll show you where all that is. We want to just make sure you're ready to enter into it. Over the 16 weeks, the CPE is 400 hours. The 400 hours is broken up to 100 hours of classroom, 300 hours of internship. Of the 100 hours, you would meet every week for 3 hours. I think it's on Monday or Tuesday nights, with a cohort of a minimum of 3 students and a maximum of 8. Now, those students in that cohort could be at any one of the 4 levels and may also be undergrad or graduate students. So you're all meeting together, 3 to 8 students in each group. What you are doing is you are discussing in the groups what you did during your internship. Now, with the internship, I'll get to the CPE program in a moment. You have to have a host site that is has indicated that they will allow you to be an intern there. And they have certain requirements, and there's some other things you have to do also that's part of the application process and the interview that you would go through. Now, the degree program only requires you to have 2 units of clinical pastoral education, CPE, in order to graduate. However, I said that there are 4 units of CPE. CPE is what is used within a healthcare environment like hospital chaplaincy or hospice chaplaincy. It can also be community-based. It's wonderful to use within your churches for the development of your care team ministries and stuff. You'll notice that in year 2, in module 3 and 4, there are no 16-week classes. Conceptually, you can take the 611 class that will be for module 1 and module 2 in your 3rd year and do it in module 3 and 4 of your 2nd year. That's the spring. What that means is in the 2nd year in the spring, if you did that, you would have 1 unit of CPE out of the way. And then in the fall of your 3rd year, you're doing unit 2, which would be 622. And in the spring, you would do 633. That means you only have 1 more 16-week class to take to complete all 4 levels. And you can do that through Grace. So the reason I'm saying that is we're in the process of putting a Doctor of Ministry program together that will include the 4 units of CPE supervisor. So in order to be a CPE supervisor, you first have to complete all 4 levels, and then you can enter into the supervisory 4 units. So there's another 400 hours for each one of those units. CPE supervisors are the individuals that are managing the spiritual care departments in healthcare facilities. So the more units of CPE that you take, if your endeavor is to, look for paid hospital chaplain positions or hospice, the more potential revenue you can generate, and the more responsibility and the better your resume looks for coming in as a hospital chaplain. And if you want to get into the management, then you walk on to the CPE supervisor. Now, the challenge is that if you go to the Doctor of Ministry program, there are additional requirements and coursework that you would have to take. And you have to be in ministry for 5 years first before you can apply. And you have to have Greek as part of your training in order to get in. So our Master of Divinity in Chaplaincy, we have a 4-year plan for that also. And it's in here somewhere. THM. Here it is. It's on page 65. So it's the same type of thing. If you're in the MDiv program, this is 95 credits. If you did the MDiv, you're set up after you have completed the 5 years of ministry to come in and apply for the doctorate of ministry. So you have all the academic requirements. But I want you to note that when you are in the MDiv program, it's not until your 3rd year that you start to take any chaplain classes. Now, again, there's only 2 units of CPE. They're in your 4th year. And basically for each one of the years, except for your 1st year, you'll notice that there's a line here. So that means this is an 8-week class. There is no other 8-week class. But elementary Greek, there is no 8 weeks. And soteriology, there is no 8 weeks because there's not a line. So when you look at it and you don't see a line, that means it's a 16-week full semester program. So there isn't really a place for you to shift the 611 into an earlier year. And this is pretty tough for the program. You're already at 10 credits and 8 credits. So we try to keep it balanced out with that. So that is why I want you to download the academic catalog. And please do read through it. There are a number of other pages that are applicable for you. So do you have any questions up to this point, Tamara or Joel? Is this pretty clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It is.
All right. So now I'm going back to academics. and you can see course schedules. So this is important because what this will do, and you'll notice here's the course schedules for 2021 and the ones for 2020, and we're in the graduate schedule. So when you go over here, the graduate schedule shows you when this is the code for the class, the title of the class. Then this tells you how many credits, who will be teaching it, what modules it's taught in, when the date of the class is, and the time of the class. Now, while you're taking CPE, you are exempt from being in a discipleship class. The discipleship courses are mandatory for the graduate program. So if you're not taking CPE, you're in a discipleship group. If you're taking CPE, you don't need to sign up for it. So what you would do is you would choose the day of the week and the times that you want to be in a discipleship group. And you must do this every semester. The instructions are here, and it's a pass-fail type of course. Dr. Norris teaches that, okay? So the delivery methods in the last column, you could see most of the classes are going to have an O. That means it's remote streaming. It tells you when open and late registration is, and you can click down here to begin actually doing the registration and sign up Populi. So what you would do is you would compare your course progression chart for the semester that you're in. So let's say we're here for the chaplaincy. So let's say we're in the summer for module 5, TH 565 and SF 550. And then you would go back over here and you would look for those classes and sign up. So you would have the day. Now, let's say, for example, that you needed to take a class, but it's not listed here, okay? So you go back and let's look at Christology and Pneumatology in the MDiv. Yeah, this is when it starts to take time. So let's just say, for example, that you're in year 1, but let's say ministry stewardship is part of your degree path, but it's not in the right sequence, but it shows up in the chart. Notify me by email that you want to take a class out of sequence. And then I will be able to go back and look at your progression within Populi and help you to manage that. What the process is, so what I'd like you to follow is you're going to go from top to bottom in the rows and left to right in the course progression. And then if the class is not present, but there is a class present from the following year, back up and again go left to right and see, is there a class in the second year that's available that I'll take in the first year? But I want you to try to stick to the sequence. Am I clear on that, Tamara? Does that make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
Joel? You okay?
It does.
Okay. All right. So now,
Yes.
so we went through academics, we went through the course schedules, the graduate programs, okay, tuitions and fees are down here. So this is where you'd find out about your different fees for the programs. Those would be done with your bursar would be doing it to the account, and that you'd be paying them that way. Now you'll notice over here that you have register for classes. So there's instructions that are here that helps you to process through a process for doing your registration and for preparing for your classes. I want you to note over here that the graduate and postgraduate books are listed here and they've been downloaded. So what that will do is open up a chart for you as a PDF that lists the books for each of the classes that you are required. So you would go down the chart and find out the books that you need to purchase. You need to make sure that you have the books before you start the class. There are some professors, most, that if you do not have the books available, you can't do the assignments, they will not allow you to process through. So this is very important for you to be able to get that book listing as soon as you are able to. And again, that's under academics and under register that you find it. So now when I come over here to students, I want you to notice, I'd like you to go through each one of these so you become familiar with what is here. But I want you to notice here this thing that talks about forms. As a student, you're responsible for initiating everything. And you initiate it through the use of these forms so that we know what's going on and it's documented. So what I want you to do when you get a chance is go to students and go to forms. I want you just to click on each one of these forms and stuff so you could see what is here. So sometimes you say you need to take a course substitution. So say you need a class and the class isn't available, but you need something to be able to complete your degree program. Well, then you need to request that you can substitute a class, for example. If you want to do, sometimes I have, like one of my students I have having to do an independent study. You would click on directed research, I believe, for that. And also you want to notify myself and the registrar each time. And that brings me to Populi. You need to make sure that you do all communication through your GSOT email. If you do not use your GSOT email and your personal email, the school policy is we will not respond to you. And that's because of FERPA and some other issues. So when you go into your Populi account, when it's initially set up, I believe they use your personal email. And if they use your personal email, I need you to go into Populi, please, and change it to your GSOT email. Okay. So then let me come back over here. So basically, I just want you to go through each one of these forms and look at it. Tamara, now that you've just been accepted, the form I want you to look at is this, I think it's transcript request form. You're able, no, that's the wrong one. If you have a degree from another school or you have classes from elsewhere, you need to initiate the process to request a transcript evaluation. And that's an email to myself, and I will put it in. Let me do this. I'm going to go to the chat right now, and my email is ksahlenker@gsot.edu. And the registrar is registrar@gsot.edu. Okay, so I'm putting the chat window now over here so that this is also recorded. So
Okay.
as your academic advisor, you notify me so I'm able to assist you. But I also want
Okay.
you to also notify the registrar. His name is Paco Cortez, and Paco will help us to process through things. So if you do have classes elsewhere that you want to have evaluated, I would urge you to go ahead and send an email requesting a transcript evaluation to both of us. Paco will probably reply back. And if there is a form that's here, I'm not sure which one it is. It may be under general petition. He'll tell you what you need to do because you have the potential of having credits awarded to you towards your degree. So you would
Yeah,
reduce.
my transcripts are already there, so I can do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because they are here and you've already been accepted, I know, but they're not evaluated yet, and they won't be until you initiate it. Okay.
Okay.
And those would be the emails that you would send to them to do that. So let me just also, where's my mouse? Okay, so discipleship and mentoring program. Okay, so over here also, you have the course schedules again, and you have the course schedules that are here go back to the listing of. You've seen this already for the next semester that lists the classes. The other thing I want you to look at is the library. There are some excellent tools that are available to you. I want you to become familiar with this. You'll notice that the login is part inside a Canvas and stuff, but become familiar with what is available here within the library. And also Turabian is the referencing that we use here at the school. So there are citation guides and things like this, and you'll become more familiar with it as you go through the research methodology class. So as you get started, the first thing that I want you really to look at is taking the research methodology and the hermeneutics class. My email, I just gave it to you. Again, I'll put it back up here into the chat window. It's kschlenker@gsot.edu. Please feel free to notify me if you have any questions. I'm looking forward to actually meeting you and being able to help you in your degree program. Are you in the Master of Arts in Chaplaincy, Tamara?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Joel, I know you're in the MAC program. Where are you?
Actually, I am simultaneously pursuing the Masters of Ministry, Masters of Arts of Biblical Studies, and the MDiv. And so I just added the Certificate of Chaplaincy to my schedule.
Okay.
So that I could
So
pursue them all simultaneously.
So you have multiple course progression charts that I want you to download in that catalog.
Mm-hmm.
And that will help you in processing and sequencing.
Right.
So
Yeah, I haven't been able to download the catalog yet because I haven't gotten the email from the registrar. So I'll do that when I can.
All right, perfect. Do you have any questions for me, Tamara?
No, I think it's probably clear as mud right now. I just have to get in the middle of it. I'm sure I will eventually, but right now everything seems pretty clear.
Okay, and where do you live?
I live outside of Athens, Georgia. I'm in between Athens and Atlanta, in a little town called Monroe.
Okay, very good. Well, welcome to the school, and at some point, I look forward to seeing what you look like.
Well, I am a very late realizing of the call. I mean, I have, as you know, multiple degrees because I thought I was doing what God wanted me to do. And long story short is it took a good friend of mine who's dying to call me out and said, "You're running from ministry. You need to quit running." And I did, and things have just kind of fallen into place, so I'm excited.
Oh, very good. Well, thank you for allowing us to be part of your journey. We're excited for you, and we will do whatever we need to help you to succeed.
Thank you, and I will be in touch. And Jared, it's nice to meet you as well.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. And Joel, do you have any questions for me?
I do, from a professional standpoint, out in the secular world and applying these skills and things like the internships or continuing clinical professional education. Does the school already have contacts of places, or do I need to be
Yeah.
pursuing them? And could you talk a little bit more about that process?
Absolutely. Thank you for helping me. I'm just going down through my list here. The way the CPE internship works, and this is one of the reasons why we need you to get in touch the semester before you get started. We try to look at the ministry that you are already involved in and see how can we modify that in order to be the place that you do your internship. So we will work with you to do that. That's what needs to happen the semester before you get started. However, with me saying that, I think it is in your best interest to try to get as many different host sites as possible within reason. I mean, not going overboard. So you're able to experience different environments and different population groups. For example, I'm a former Navy vet. Well, I'm not former, I'm a Navy vet. And I work a lot with first responders and the military. And I'm the training director for a couple other nonprofits outside of my own nonprofit. One of them is called Combined Arms. Lieutenant General Steve Hummer worked with Mathis at the Pentagon. He was over AFRICOM, so like 500,000 people. He's one of our students here at Grace School of Theology. He is involved with Combined Arms. So I was on the call yesterday with their mental health person that is down in Houston, and we're working on Combined Arms, which is working with military veterans on a telephonic modality or this type of modality to be an internship site. So you could be anywhere and use them for an internship. I have another one in California, Integrated Recovery Foundation, that I'm also working with. And coincidentally, they also happen to be working with military and first responders. But we're developing a tele-mental health program through the foundation. So dealing with stuff like military sexual trauma or substance abuse or things like that. So I understand I have individuals that are in different countries that are not able to gain an internship. So we're trying to help them using the modern technology. And I don't know of another seminary anywhere that is using this type of technology in order to do this. So when you get to that point, we'll work with you on that. When you come back up here to the forms section, move this out of the way, you will notice under students, under forms, there is a CPE application process. So this is where you start the CPE program. So you would fill this out, and there's a couple essays and stuff that you need to do, your resume, signature, and then you submit the application. Now, the person that is teaching, let me show you this here. CPE. Okay, CPEI International is who is providing the CPE training. They are embedded in the school. So You were able to work with Dallas Spate oversees this. Dallas is a former Army chaplain colonel, worked at the Pentagon. His son, Scott Spate, is active duty major chaplain in the Army. He is your CPE supervisor. So he will be the one that you will be going through your classes and training for CPE. So let me just go through and make sure I covered everything on my list. Okay, the only other thing I want to talk to you about, you will notice that if we go to gsot.edu/chaplaincy, guess I got to spell it right. GSOT. Okay. Huh. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Give me 1 second here.
Okay.
There it is. Okay, you will notice that here you see Careforce. Okay, so there are a number of videos that you can watch over here that I've done on different topics. What the program is and stuff like that. So Careforce has embedded its programs in Grace training, careforce.us. So our classes that we provide, your thing is open here. So if you go over here and you click on the download, these classes here are classes that are the secular skill sets of chaplaincy. We're basically a one-stop shop. So I wrote the course for the state of California for law enforcement chaplaincy. I've trained thousands of chaplains throughout the state, and we're national in our scope. So the International Critical Incident Stress Foundation, ICISF, was chosen by the United Nations and is used throughout the world for critical incident stress management. All these classes we teach. So we have embedded some of these classes in your degree program. So when you go to Grace's website and you look at the course catalog and you see in the catalog foundations of crisis intervention, intermediate crisis intervention, suicide, all of those classes that you take in the degree program. The way that Careforce has embedded them. So for example, you'll see here CH712, Foundations of Crisis Intervention, is a 3-credit class. You'll notice over here that assisting individuals in crisis, all these classes are 2 days, unless otherwise noted, like this class is a 3-day class, this class is a 3-day class. So assisting individuals in crisis, this 2-day class or 16 hours is what is embedded in Foundations of Crisis Intervention. So the 3 credits is 135 contact hours. So because we've embedded ICISF's course inside this, I will also be issuing you a certificate of completion from the International Critical Incident Stress Foundation, in addition to you getting 3 credits for your degree program. That is significant because all of these courses for ICISF, for example, let me just, ICISF.org, you are getting the certificate of completion from the International Critical Incident Stress Foundation, which was recognized and used by the United Nations. So this helps you to become credentialed for showing within the secular environment that you have a skill set that people send their people to. So that's very significant. So as you go through and you look at what's on the Careforce site, if on the training page, we don't have any classes going on for the rest of the year now, but we list them over here on the training page. You may see some of these classes listed. If you take them, there's potential that we will embed them in the degree program for classes, but even if you don't, all of our training is recognized on a national and international basis. So we also have a number of organizations that Careforce is affiliated with on our collaboration page. So you could check some of them out. And there's some of these may even be potential for you for internship sites through our relationships and stuff. So that's when you hear me talk about Careforce and Grace, we're in a, we have an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding and Mutual Aid type of relationship that we're supportive of one another and stuff. So wherever we go within our training for Careforce, we're always promoting Grace School of Theology, because your focus as a chaplain is to be an ambassador of the kingdom of God and walking alongside of other people that are in crisis. Well, that your power, your empowerment of the individual comes from the overflow of your inward relationship with our Lord. So Grace will help you in the development of your relationship, because it will give you the knowledge and the ability to understand the scripture more, so you have a transformational encounter with the living God and be conformed and transformed into his image, so that his image that's transformed and conformed within you is what you are as an ambassador in your ministry wherever you go. Ministry is what's right in front of you. It's not something that you look for. It's always present. So what we're doing in the chaplain program is taking what you're getting from Grace and helping you to live it out in an incarnational way, and helping you understand issues like human trafficking and domestic violence and suicide and all these other things that you generally will not get within a seminary education. But take that education and embed it within you, and then minister to people with the secular skill set, which is, it's very dynamic, and it should be very exciting for you. Does that help?
It does.
Tamara, did I overload you? I lost Tamara. All right. So Joel, do you have any other questions?
Not at this time.
Okay, I'm going to stop the recording, and let me find out where the recording is.